Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We are going to have a really fun live stream. You're going to hear from the man himself, Hunter Biden, pure as the driven snow. Just a wonderful example of a responsible adult, a productive citizen, and just a wonderful human being. You'll hear from him in a couple of minutes. You will actually hear him contradict the emails that show that Uncle Joe, his father, knew exactly what he was doing, even took potentially a commission. Of course, if these emails were not doctored by Russian operatives, that could have happened. But if the emails are legitimate and genuine, which Politico now has confirmed, the New York Post's reporting, which was always accurate, that Hunter left his laptop at a computer repair store, and the laptop contains very incriminating emails that prove, and of course, that's, if the emails are genuine and pristine and authentic, and both Hunter and Joe have never categorically refuted any of the email messages, so that's another issue. While Trump immediately refuted the Steele dossier, Hunter and Joe did not do so. We'll get to all of this right now. Hit subscribe to this channel. We're almost at 185,000 subs. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. My other channel, the Stock Market Crash channel. There will be a stock market crash. I don't care if the Dow goes past 35,000 up to 40,000. I really don't care. The market is counterintuitive. The reality on the ground is runaway inflation, energy prices surging, which we'll get to. Maybe if Biden wasn't such an adversary of fossil fuels, because Democrats and Biden are on this quest for zero emissions and renewable energy, and that's all good. Climate change is an important issue, but we'll get to executive orders and decisions that he made that directly led to natural gas prices being double what they used to be in the United States of America. There are people who say, well, it's not Biden's fault. The prices are 5 times as much in Europe. Yeah, Europe and the U.S. has the same viewpoint when it comes to fossil fuels. I'm not saying that you don't need renewable energy. You do. But I wrote a Federalist article talking about the cobalt and the lithium that needs to be mined for the electric car vehicle batteries. These things are not as green as you think, and you have to deal with the reality of fossil fuels and natural gas powering electric power plants. Gee, who would have thought? Anyway, we'll get to all of that. Hit subscribe to my super chat. And by the way, I can't thank you enough. I can't do this without you. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you so very much. David, everybody here. Eric, if you could let me know there was a person who started off the super chat, and I just thank you so very, very much. Whoever started off the super chat, thank you. To my super chat, I can't do this without you. Also, read my article in the Federalist on the impending stock market crash. That will be below in the pinned comment. Let's go ahead and start. Thank you to the super chat. I want to thank you personally. I just don't know who gave the super chat to start things off. So Eric or Luke, if you could let me know, that would be fantastic. Let's start off. Oh, by the way, Eric, everyone subscribe to Eric's YouTube and Odyssey channels. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's start this off right now. Canned pears, thank you. I would commit to zero emissions, but I love beans. Beans too much. Paul Bartlett. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Eric. Paul Bartlett, thank you so very much for starting it off. Thank you, Paul. Canned pears, thank you so very, very much. Paul, thank you. I can't thank you enough, as always, for your kind words. Thank you, Paul. and for your support always. Paul Bartlett in Australia. To my Australian viewers, thank you. Thank you, Paul, as always. Hunter Biden business partner confirms email showing Joe was offered 10% stake in Chinese business deal. This is the National Review, October 22nd, 2020. Okay, there are endless articles talking about Tanechi Trump, hello. HA is the GOAT. Thank you. What's up with the McCabe news today? We're going to get to that in just a second. We're going to get to that in just 1 second. Thank you so very, very much. And he got back his pension, but he's still being investigated by John Durham. The interesting thing is, it's like David Axelrod said, it's fair, and just this act of vengeance. Like all they've done with Trump was engage in retribution and vengeance. But Tanechi Trump, thank you so very, very much. Let's get to Hunter in his own words. So here's Hunter Biden being interviewed October 18, 2019 by ABC News.
No evidence of wrongdoing has been found against either one. How did you react to learning that President Trump called the Ukrainian president in a phone call asking him to investigate you and your father?
I was like every other American. I was shocked.
First of all, Trump has every right, just like Democrats say Sussman and others had every right to pass along information or to ask the FBI to investigate Trump. Trump has every right to ask anyone he wants to inquire if Joe or Hunter or anyone around him committed a crime. Just like they asked Russian operatives to find dirt on Trump. Democrats literally asked Russian operatives, literally in a Steele dossier, worked with Russian operatives. Current and former Russian government officials and an intel operative. A Russian intelligence operative who I believe was active at the time, or one government official in Russia that was active, an active government official. These are all the people who helped compile the Steele dossier. So you have to ask yourself, this double standard, will they ever admit to a double standard? They'll never, ever admit to it's unbelievable. They'll never, ever admit to a double standard. And it's like, you have 5 years of endless investigations into Trump. They found absolutely nothing. Here you have direct evidence, or you have at least evidence where Joe and his son lied through their teeth. The issue is utilizing the United States government to enrich yourself, which they claim Trump did, but which obviously Joe did. You don't go from $400,000 or $200,000 to $9 million in the span of 6, 7, 8 years without even owning a business. They said it was because of Joe Biden's books and speaking engagements. Have you heard him speak? So let's continue. So, I mean, the notion that he would be shocked when the United States government at this point was investigating Biden's taxes, Hunter's taxes. So notice the deceit as this interview is taking place. Either while it's taking place or shortly after, the United States government, according to Politico and every other publication, was actually investigating Hunter's tax and business dealings. They're still investigating. And so why would Trump be impeached for what the United States government was literally doing? The United States government was investigating Hunter. And still is. So why did he get impeached? you can't fire a prosecutor in another country and then brag about withholding $1 billion. Okay, you can't do that. But let's continue here.
Did you call your dad and say,
No.
"Oh my gosh, can you believe this"?
No, yeah, but look, my dad and I talk all the time. We don't live in this, like, political bubble. I picked up the phone, and the first thing he said to me is, Maisie's loving her classes. I said, yeah, Dad, I know. She said, Penn, no. We had that discussion before
You talked about
for real, and that's not a joke. It's not like anybody has to have any discussion beyond that. And I'll let Congress handle that, and I'll let you guys in the media handle that. And
just to let you know, as he's talking, this is a Politico article. Justice Department's interest in Hunter Biden covered more than taxes. So federal prosecutors also have investigated foreign ties, possibly money laundering. This is Politico. December 9th, 2020. How do you, as a Democrat, claim that you're against Trump and his family enriching themselves without any evidence that they enriched themselves, because all the evidence points to them losing money? They had only negative media coverage. Okay? And they were already rich. They were already wealthy. They were already wealthy before politics. So they are guilty of everything that they claim to be against. It's interesting how they're guilty of everything they claim to be against. So let's continue. And they impeached Trump for asking if Joe and Hunter did something wrong. And the United States government, according to Politico and others, has an investigation covering more than just taxes, foreign ties, and possibly laundering, according to Politico. So again, why was he impeached? That's the question. Why was Trump impeached if he was literally doing what other departments within the United States government are doing? Investigating Hunter. Let's continue.
I'll let my dad's campaign handle that. And the only thing that I'm looking to handle is to make certain that I get up every day and do the next right thing. We're going to an event to meet with...
So he knows that he'll be taken care of by media. They're going to accept any... They're going with Democrats. They're going to accept any answer. I had a server for convenience. I never talked about business dealings, and they won't push back. With Trump, they have no evidence he ever worked with Russia. But you better believe they'll continue to think he worked with Russia no matter what. They'll continue to believe that he worked with Russia no matter what. Because they believe lies about Trump, and they are very reluctant to believe the truth about themselves. Let's continue.
Attended your father's campaign fundraiser here back in May.
Yeah.
You were noticeably absent from your father's launch rally. Going forward, are you going to be a visible part of your father's campaign?
Yeah, as much as I can. I mean, look, I live in LA, and it's not necessarily that accessible to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. But the balance is If my dad's going to talk about the things that really, really do matter to the American people, I don't want them also talking about me. I just don't want to be a distraction to what he wants to tell the American people right now.
Do you think you're a distraction right now to your father's campaign?
No, personally, myself, I'm not necessarily a distraction.
He definitely was not a distraction. Social media silenced and suppressed and hid a breakthrough story, one of the most important stories of any election cycle ever. The son of a candidate had emails showing the candidate was being given a commission, was possibly selling access, or the belief that wealthy billionaires or governments or corporations could gain access to the United States government. The definition of quid pro quo schemes that they tried to uncover within Trump's tax returns. Notice how they never get the returns of Hunter or Joe, or they never scrutinize how Biden, for example, got $10 million within the span of 6-7 years without even owning a business. Joe Biden doesn't own a business. Okay? Hunter Biden's business partners came out and said, yeah, the man is crooked. So I mean, to Nikki Trump was impeached for looking into corruption. Exactly, the same corruption that the government is looking into right now. To Nikki Trump, thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. To Nikki Trump, thank you so very, very much. And so, let's continue. I mean, the New York Post was silenced. Or no, I shouldn't say silenced. They broke a story that was monumental. And immediately, the public relations machine descended upon the New York Post like they will. Look, there's no such thing as news in the United States of America. It's public relations. We have very few journalists. You can count maybe on both hands how many actual journalists there are in the entire country. Almost everybody in journalism is a lifelong Democrat. Almost everybody. You have great conservative publications like The Federalist, who are awesome, and I'm very proud and happy to have been published on the stock market crash that's going to take place directly because of Biden and Democrats and media. I explain in the article why there will be a devastating stock market crash. But most journalists in this country are lifelong Democrats who serve as public relations executives, little public relations executives for the Democratic Party. They will only, there is no difference from between a Rolling Stone article, a Mother Jones article, a Washington Post article, a New York Times article, a New Yorker or Atlantic piece. There's no difference. It's the same thing. Republicans are bad. Democrats are good. Biden is fantastic. Trump is a danger and a menace. It's the same theme. You're not going to get anything. 20 years ago, there would be a difference between Esquire. So, you would have, 16 years ago, you'd have Christopher Hitchens writing in Esquire. I believe it. Yeah, Esquire. Now, Esquire, Vanity Fair, or he would write in both Esquire and Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair, Christopher Hitchens wrote in Vanity Fair and Esquire. And a whole bunch of other publications. But you would have... Vanity Fair wasn't the same publication as the New York Times. And both of them weren't basically a printed version of CNN. You're getting the same viewpoint. That's why when people read the New York Times, they're not into politics. And they're like, oh, it's in the New York Times. Well, R. Pierce, hello. When when you get the same viewpoint all the time, it ceases to become journalism, and it becomes what George Orwell called public relations. Public relations. Let's continue.
To his campaign. I'm never a distraction to my dad. But this is not a family business. My dad has a...
It definitely is a family business. It definitely is. And here's the thing. If they were just honest about it and said, yeah, I utilized my dad's connections to make money, but we never promised anything. And those emails, yeah, those are my emails, but you know what? There's nothing there that's criminal. But they lied. See, Trump did not lie about not working with Russia. They say Trump lies, and he told the truth. Compared to media, he's far more truthful. You would have to be an absolute buffoon and imbecile to believe that Trump worked with Russia and Putin to buy Facebook ads or whatever nonsense people still think. You would have to be a complete imbecile to believe this. It was a lie from the very beginning. Just because you don't like Trump doesn't mean like every lie about him is accurate. They despise Trump, so they'll believe anything, and they'll allow anything to take place. They suspend logic. They're willing to suspend logic when it comes to Trump. They're willing to suspend logic. Because they don't really care what happens. So with President Trump, they don't really care. Oh my God. They don't really care what happens with Trump because they just think that he's such a menace, anything goes. The ends justifies the means. They know he never worked with Russia. They know that there's nothing in his tax returns that will cause him to get indicted or impeached or arrested. They know they can't arrest or indict him for January. His tax returns, pressuring Zelensky, which President Zelensky of Ukraine stated that never happened anyway. And they can't get him for working alongside Russia because that never happened. That never happened. So, but the Justice Department is actually interested in Hunter Biden, and it's more than just taxes. Federal prosecutors also have investigated foreign ties, possibly laundering. Okay, so this is how it works. Durham Probe Special Counsel is independent from the United States government or from the Justice Department. There's zero chance, it took me a long time to realize this, there's zero chance that Hunter Biden gets indicted or faces legal repercussions because of Biden's Justice Merrick Garland. Okay, what they do is they investigate Democrats or loyalists to Democrats. They investigate, find nothing, and say they investigated but find nothing, so they can put the investigation to bed. Okay, but if anyone, which gets to the title of this segment, if anyone, anywhere from Brennan, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, any of them, if any of them is linked in any way, because the special counsel has very broad terms that I put in the description, if they're linked in any way to trying to cover up Hunter's issues or investigate Trump as a way of deflecting from Hunter's issues, they can be brought up and charged and indicted. And so let's just continue. A lot of what these intelligence operatives have done is say that the best defense is a good offense. So Democrats, all they do is investigate because they can't arrest or charge or indict Trump. So they want to muddy the waters and spread as much distrust into everything pertaining to Trump so that their issues, their criminality, their corruption is just overlooked. Everything is in relation to Trump. Well, Trump, he's worse. No, he's not. They're worse. Hunter has done infinitely more that's potentially criminal, and so is Joe, than Donald Trump. Joe Biden was bragging about forcing out a prosecutor in another country. Nobody gave him the authority to do so. You cannot force another government to fire a prosecutor and utilize $1 billion to do so. Who gave him the authority? President Obama? Nobody has explained who gave Biden the authority to force out a prosecutor in another country. Could you imagine if Ukraine did that to us? Could you imagine if they said, well, I don't like Merrick Garland, so... Can you imagine if Macron came to the United States and said, je n'aime pas Merrick Garland? They would never happen. Well, first of all, we have Biden's ruined our relationship with France, which Trump didn't do. They withdrew an ambassador while Biden was in office, not with Trump. That should tell you something. Paul Bartlett, thank you again. Paul, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Paul. Greatly appreciated. But let's continue with this.
A job, but that does not mean that I had ever had any plans to go do rallies and talk about Donald Trump's kids, and I never will. That's not what Biden.
See, again, it has nothing to do with talking about Trump's kids, which, by the way, media obsesses over, and Democrats have obsessed over. They treated Trump's kids far worse than Trump has treated Hunter. And the issue with Joe's son is that it's not like there isn't a reason for criticism. He either left or somehow there were laptops given to a computer repair store. They're his emails. We know that they're his emails. He hasn't denied they're his emails. And like every Democrat with email, incriminating messages completely undermine and prove that they lied, completely undermine their public relations spin on everything. The truth about Democrats is less important to Democratic voters than lies about Trump. And that's unfortunately how our political system works. Then you have never Trump Republicans who are hilarious. Kinzinger and Cheney, according to 538, voted 90% alongside Trump during their time in office. So it has nothing to do with policies. It has to do with the Democratic Party resonates with Bush Republicans. The Democratic Party is a slightly more liberal or more liberal version of the 2000s Bush Republicans. That's why you have the Lincoln Project people who opposed marriage equality. By the way, how everyone ignores this, I have no idea. The Lincoln Project people, the wonderful journalists, potentially at what is that publication, The Bulwark, All of these Bill Kristol, I think that's his publication. Bill Kristol was well known to oppose marriage equality, in addition to pushing for every failed counterinsurgency war and quagmire. Their track record is horrendous. But they are basically Democrats. They know that they'll never get the Republican Party. The Republican Party will never again be a Mitt Romney, George W. Bush Republican Party. It will never again be, or even a John McCain political party. It will never again be that party. Never. The anti-war, movement in this country is, it's basically Trump voters. The people most against foreign interventions, regime changes, counterinsurgency conflicts, wars are Trump supporters, not Democrats. Democrats will, if it's President Obama destroying Libya, they don't care at all. They didn't even care for the most part with Bush. Although back then, the people opposing many of the people, like Max Cleland, of course, the Lincoln Project went after. A triple amputee Vietnam War hero, veteran. And they disparaged a veteran. So, basically, everything that they accused Trump of, they're guilty of. They accused Trump of disparaging Americans, veterans. That's what they did in 2000. They accused Trump of working with Russia. That's what they did with the Steele dossier. They accused Trump of going after Hunter. The United States government is investigating his foreign ties. Literally everything they've accused Trump of, they're either doing or they exemplify. They went after Trump, their direct political rival. And then they say, oh my God, he's going after us. He's going after us. And they had all of media backing them. Well, let's continue.
Do. It just isn't. It's just not my dad's nature. Once you make it personal,
First of all, Joe Biden was part of setting up and framing Michael Flynn. He wanted to go after Michael Flynn, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, using an obscure law. I forgot the law, but what was it? He was part of framing Michael Flynn. He was part of this whole process as vice president.
You basically go down the same rabbit hole that they're trying to leave everybody down. And so that's the distraction that I don't want to be. I mean, there's so many things that the American people right now are so much more concerned about than, whether Hunter Biden is going to show up with his dad at the state fair in Iowa.
When you're out and about, especially with all of this 24/7 news coverage, do people come up to you? Are you able to maintain your privacy?
Yeah, there's a lot more interesting and relevant people in LA than me. And you know what? Most people respect privacy in that way. At least from what I said, I do. And as I said, the only time was after a news account. And it wasn't
It's off the table. I want to get to the heart of it. Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No.
This is, of course, a lie. They discussed every business deal. It's in the emails. And the National Review has Hunter Biden Business Park confirms email showing Joe was offered 10% stake in Chinese business deal. 20 for H. And 10 held by H for the big guy. The big man being Joe. Okay? Then you had a photo of Hunter and Joe and business partners golfing. Okay? Then you had the fact that the vice president of this country forced out a prosecutor in another country, withheld $1 billion, which is exactly everything they're guilty of, they then spin in the most obvious, overt manner, accusing Trump of what they're guilty of. He literally forced out a prosecutor, literally said, you're not going to get $1 billion, and laughed about it. And then the absurd, nonsensical, irrational, completely lame excuse was, well, he cared so much about Ukraine that he forced out the prosecutor because that prosecutor in particular wasn't doing a good job rooting out corruption. Sorry, it's not an American official's job to fire any foreign official because of our assessment that the person wasn't doing a good job or wasn't doing good work. And you can, and always what they do, there's this consensus. Lots of people agreed with Joe. Yeah, lots of people disagreed too. You know the easiest way to refute the absurd claim of a consensus? Just simply point out that a whole bunch of people disagree. Then you don't have a consensus anymore, do you? The Democrats, a consensus is people we agree with us. And that's it. That means a consensus. And any failed, flawed policy, any corruption was, everybody agreed with it. When in reality, there is not a consensus on any topic that they push or advocate for. There might be there's a consensus on climate change, but there's not a consensus on how we should address it. That's the issue. Taneki Trump! Have you seen the new Tucker Flynn interview? Incredible. By the way, it's Tunchi Trump. Sorry. Tunchi Trump, thank you so very, very much. Tunchi Trump. I hope I'm is it Tunchi? Thank you so very much, Tunchi Trump. Tunchi Trump, thank you so very much. I haven't. I have to see it. And I wrote in the Federalist defending General Michael Flynn, saying that he was already exonerated and he should be pardoned. And he eventually was. Tunchi Trump, thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Tunchi Trump. Thank you. I have to check that out. But let's continue.
I said the only time was after a news account, and it wasn't a discussion in any way. There's no but to this. No, we never did.
Your dad said, I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
And I said, I do. And that was literally the end of our discussion.
Why? Does that make any sense at all? So he contradicts himself right then and there. And it's like they don't they don't care. So the issue is he contradicts himself, and the interviewer doesn't really care. But listen to this again.
To the heart of it, did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No. As I said, the only time was after a news account.
Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine? No. Well, actually, the only time was... And the emails show that he was lying. The New York Post... Twitter went to bat for the Democratic Party, of course, because Twitter and all social media algorithms are geared towards silencing any speech at all that could be detrimental to Democrats. It has nothing to do with combating negative emotions or keeping people safe. Democrats don't care about that at all. They stood silent with, $1 to $2 billion in property damage, curfews in every major city. They don't care at all. You can have a weekend with 30 people losing their lives in cities throughout the country. Democratic-run cities. They don't care. They do not care at all. Democrats they don't care at all. They want to suppress and silence speech. because they know that if they don't have every conceivable advantage, they can't even get an infrastructure bill passed because you have Democrats who aren't on board. This is with the House, the Senate, the presidency, all of media, every social media algorithm, Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers, and all of late night. Do you understand? The New York Times and the Washington Post actually report on Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers mocking Trump. This is an actual legitimate news story. This is what journalism has become. Seth Meyers brutally mocks Trump. It's not even funny. 9 times out of 10, you listen to like late night or, it's not even funny. It's just like they're reading a script and they have such contempt for Trump and Republicans that they just regurgitate whatever it is that helps Democrats. But if you were to debate Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers, do you think they would be educated enough to actually have a debate with you on any topic? Like Libya, for example. President Obama's role in helping destroy Libya. Biden's role. Or the economy now. Or the fact that we shut down all of American society and now are feeling the consequences. And once we have a devastating stock market crash, which we will, it will be because of wonderful experts who said, no, we need to shut down all economic activity. What about, if you debated Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers on the crisis at the border, what would they say? What would they say? Or the Afghanistan evacuation, what would they say? Using the T-ban as security. So it's a public relations monstrosity. You have this public relations monstrosity. And this is the thing. I don't have any, of all the Democrats, I have the least, dislike, or I have zero animosity towards Hunter Biden. I don't. The man, if anything, he's probably the most honest, even though he was lying through this interview, of all the Democrats who are in the public spotlight. He's pretty honest with his life. Okay? So I don't have any I don't have any negative feelings towards Biden's son at all. But the fact is that the whole planet knows that he and Joe and other Democrats make a great deal of money by either selling access or allowing people to believe that they have some kind of ally within the United States government. So when one of the emails say, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? He was on the board of directors not because of nepotism, because the energy company, the oil and gas company in Ukraine wanted an ally wanted somebody who could help them with preferential treatment within the United States government. Doc Flex, you're the man. Thank you, Doc Flex. Thank you. Doc Flex, thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated. I appreciate the kind words. Doc Flex, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Thank you. Let's continue. Like I said, I feel bad for Hunter Biden because he is probably, his emails show obvious schemes to enrich themselves. Well, actually, in that respect, I don't feel bad. But in the pantheon of Democrats who have done really despicable things, I'm sure he's not like, I'm sure that he is just a person caught up in all of this. Or maybe I could be wrong. Well, let's continue.
It wasn't a discussion in any way. There's no but to this. No, we never did.
Your dad said, I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
And I said, I do. And that was literally the end of our discussion.
Why?
Because my dad was vice president of the United States. There's literally nothing as a young man or as a full-grown adult that my father in some way hasn't had influence over, as it does not serve either one of us.
That's not... See, okay, so this is a lie by omission. The reason, and Doc Flex, thank you so very much. The reason, greatly appreciate it. The reason that he was on the board of directors of an energy company is because the energy company wanted Joe to hook them up. Then you have the issue of Joe bragging about forcing out a prosecutor that Giuliani stated was about to investigate or was investigating the company that was paying Hunter tens of thousands of dollars a month. That's the issue. GFD. Hello, I'll just call you GFD. Thank you. Information laundering is the name of the game. The FBI text, Flynn, were so embarrassing you can't even FOIA them anymore. You should read them. Wow, yes. Exactly. FBI texts regarding Flynn were so embarrassing you can't even FOIA them anymore. Exactly. Information laundering is the name of the game. Yes, I agree. And GFD, thank you, GFD. Thank you so very much. And GFD, it's so incriminating too. The Kleinsmith text messages, vive la résistance, and we should have done more. I mean, it's so interesting, like how brazen they were. They didn't. I mean, these people were so in the tank for one political side, and it's all within their writing. I mean, GFD, also Peter Strzok, will stop Trump. I mean, it's right there. I agree with you.
Know what you're doing. What did he think you were doing?
Well, he read the press reports that I joined the board of Barisma, which was
He read the press reports. That's like when President Obama, even though he got emails from Hillary, he said, well, I learned from CNN. I mean, who believes this? He read the press reports? No, he didn't read the press reports. He knew you were working for Barisma. And he helped, and he knew very well. So well that he probably went to bat for you. So, whatever. But see, again, it is so obvious, the response, the notion that Joe had the right to force anyone in any country out of a job. That's absurd. Who gave Joe Biden the authority to do that? Who gave Joe Biden the authority? Was it President Obama? Who? Who gave him the authority? Who gave Biden the authority to force out a prosecutor and use $1 billion? Because when Biden was talking about it, he states the Ukrainians stated, you don't have that authority. You don't have the right to do so. They actually told as Joe Biden was bragging. As Joe Biden was bragging, he was actually saying, "Oh yeah," and they said, "You don't have the right to do so." And then Joe said, "Oh well, call the president. Call President Obama right now." So was it President Obama who gave them the right? I mean, he was Joe's boss. So who gave Joe Biden the right to do that? Who gave Uncle Joe the right to force out anyone in any country? Who gave him the authority? Who gave him the green light to do so? Who gave him the green light to force out anyone in any country? That does not happen. Okay? And utilizing $1 billion, then they say, oh, Trump utilized military assistance. He was literally bragging and boasting about utilizing $1 billion in assistance. So there you go. Larry! Just say it, Brandon. On the Barisma para. Larry! Let's go, Brandon. I saw the interview today again. It was so great. What's his name? The interviewer was fantastic. Oh, Brandon, the race car driver was like amazing. He was like, "This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life." and then the interviewer was like, "Oh, the crowd is. Oh yeah, let's go, Brandon. Yeah, yeah." And it's like, it's not. No.
Ukrainian natural gas company. There's been a lot of misinformation about me, not about my dad. Nobody buys that. But it buys this idea that I was unqualified to be on the board.
What were your qualifications to be on the board of Barisma?
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years. I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program. I was a lawyer for Boies Schiller Flexner, one of the most prestigious law firms in the world. Bottom line is that I know that I was completely qualified to be on the board to head up the corporate governance and transparency committee on the board. And that's all that I focused on. Basically turning a Eastern European independent natural gas company into Western standards of corporate governance.
In the list that you gave,
one of the emails says, "How can you use your influence on behalf of the company?" According to the New York Post. Let's look at the email from the New York Post. I mean, that was reported by the New York Post. I'm not making this up. It's in the oh great. My cheap speaker fell. Here, New York Post. It's right here. Advice on how you can use your influence on the company's behalf. 3 exec ask Hunter for advice on how you can use your influence. It's nothing to do. He can be qualified. He can be completely qualified. And it has nothing to do with, absolutely nothing to do with nepotism. He could be qualified, and his dad could have gotten him the job. It's not a problem. I don't care about nepotism. That's fine. Family businesses are fantastic. The issue was, quote, "Dear Hunter, thank you for..." So there you go. Sorry about that. Sorry about the the buffering. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this right here. So, okay, so let's listen to this.
Turning a Eastern European independent natural gas company into Western standards of corporate governance.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the vice president of the United States.
You were paid.
But that's why they want him there, because they want access to Joe, which, according to the emails, they got. That in and of itself isn't... That's obviously dicey. It's not necessarily proof of any foul play, even if they say, okay, well, you know what? It's good to have the son of the vice president on our board of directors. If they just said, yeah, they wanted me because my father was the vice president, if he just said that and left it at that, it'd be fine. The problem is the emails show that they met and all, both of them lied. Joe and Hunter lied about their interactions and how much Uncle Joe knew. So the president of the United States lied. But, of course, you're not going to get... There was never a fact check by the Washington Post because they're an extension of the Democratic Party. But there was never a fact check utilizing the work of the New York Post and the words of both Hunter and Joe, which are obviously refuted by the emails that they can't deny. They even say, well, it could be our emails, it might not. And then their defenders hide behind plausible deniability. So...
Paid $50,000 a month for your position?
Look, I'm a private citizen. One thing that I don't have to do is sit here and open my kimono as it relates to how much money I make or did or didn't. But it's all been reported.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have...
Yeah, you open your kimono, though. That's for sure.
...been asked to be on the board of Barisma?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Do you regret being on the board to begin with?
No, I don't regret being on the board. What I regret is not taking into account that there would be a Rudy Giuliani and a president of the United States that would be listening to this ridiculous conspiracy idea, which has, again, been completely debunked by everyone.
It was never debunked. Whenever Democrats use the word debunk, it's never debunked. It's never, ever... Okay. They use the word debunk in a manner that they're trying to say that, oh, well, there's no reason to be suspicious because they haven't debunked anything. If anything, there is email revelations that show that Joe and Hunter lied. They haven't debunked anything. What media wants to do is the following. They want to promote as much suspicion of Trump while at the same time trying to erase or remove any suspicion from Democrats. So it's the game is about leveling as much emotion, controlling the flow of emotions. They don't care about information, they care about emotions. That's what propaganda is all about, emotion. The information is secondary. So, a whole bunch of smart people who happen to be lifelong Democrats and liberals and wonderful, morally superior, left-leaning pundits and writers and journalists they don't find any reason why we should be suspicious of Joe when he forces out a prosecutor. Because of course he was doing so to help Ukraine. This is the narcissism. This is, they talk about, nationalism. And this is the, like, what's the term that we can use? This is the jingoism, okay? Well, Joe was forcing out a prosecutor because, that prosecutor who was actually Ukrainian and a Ukrainian official wasn't good for Ukraine. Well, how do you know, and who gave you the right? Who gave Joe the right to force any? This is the definition of jingoism, narcissism, extreme nationalism. You're going to tell another country that they need to force a prosecutor out, and you're going to withhold $1 billion and brag about it and boast about it to a whole bunch of, elite. Who was it? The most educated, smartest people in the room. He's boasting about this too. And he spilled the beans when he said, and they said I had no right to do so. And I said, call President Obama. He'll tell you. The people that he was trying to manipulate, the people he was trying to manipulate, the people that Joe Biden was trying to manipulate, didn't think that he had the authority to do so. And Joe even states that. So it obviously wasn't part of his job description. So that's an issue.
I think people at home are thinking, how could that not have crossed your mind? Or you wouldn't have felt just a little bit in your gut, like, maybe this isn't a good idea to go and sit on the board of this Ukrainian company.
I said to you, in retrospect, I wish
right,
that
but
my
at the
judgment...
time, you never thought, this might not look right.
So Joe Biden was the point man. It's all public relations to root out corruption in Ukraine. And so, and this is the narcissism at play. We are so not corrupt that we're going to force out a prosecutor who happened to be investigating a company that his son was on the board of directors of. That's how not corrupt we are when looking at other people's corruption. It defies logic. This is, and you have here's the thing. You have the smartest people in the room. The most educated atheists and conservative journalists and scholars and historians. And they look at Trump and they say, never in American history have we had such a narcissist, such a menace to decent people, such a disruptive, negative force in American politics. And they're so gullible. And these people are the smartest people in the room, and they're so naive and gullible. And they'll believe anything. And they think James Comey is an apolitical Boy Scout. If you think that James Comey was apolitical, and Peter Strzok was completely objective and apolitical when he said, we'll stop Trump. their actual, who they are is within their emails. Cheating Bernie Sanders. How can you use your influence on behalf of the company? We'll stop Trump. Vive la résistance. I mean, it's right there. They're telling you we're going to stop Trump and do everything we can. And if you can't delineate between Trump and the media obsession with taking him down, you're not as smart as you think. Donald Trump is not only there's the human being, and then there's the media interpretation. There's the attempt by media to distort and to vilify and demonize Trump. If you can't differentiate between media's attempt to ruin him and who he is as a person, then you're not as smart as you think you are, and you're basically a gullible partisan observer. If you just say, I don't like his personality, but what they did to him wasn't fair, or I don't like his personality, but yeah, they might have had a political motive in going after him, that's perfect. If you say, I can't stand Trump, but it's likely they were going after him, that's great. But if you say Trump is a menace and decent people shouldn't like him, then you're a gullible fool. You'll believe anything. You can't, the media has twisted, they've twisted themselves. They've gone into all these different contortions trying to protect Joe and Hunter and Hillary and everybody. And they go after Trump and his family in a way that they would never do if the tables were turned. Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry about, ladies and gentlemen, McCabe getting his pension back, okay. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all that he got his pension back. He did commit crimes, and he did try to set up and frame Trump, but the Durham probe has his sights on, they're investigating McCabe, Comey, so the special counsel is still investigating McCabe. I mean, nobody should be surprised if the system tries its best to protect anyone who went after Trump. Michael Cohen, for example, is a prime example of that.
What? I'm a human. And you know what? Did I make a mistake? Well, maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah. But did I make a mistake based upon some unethical lapse? Absolutely not.
So the mistake.
Of course there is an ethical lapse. Of course there was an ethical lapse. Of course there was. I mean, there were only ethical lapses.
Mistake was giving your father's political foes ammunition.
Yep.
At a campaign event yesterday in Columbus, Ohio, Joe Biden addressed his son's interview with us, reiterating his son's words.
He pointed out the reason why he regrets it is he didn't anticipate that thugs like Giuliani would use it to, in fact, try to embarrass his father.
Thugs like Giuliani, but really wholesome people like Comey. I mean, this is hilarious. You know what? Trump is like, when the history of this time period will be written, of course you'll get wonderful, apoplectic, liberal historians trying to distort the truth, saying, well, the Durham probe, hopefully, and I think it will, when I do a segment every night on this, will save this country from further chaos and mayhem. But the reality is that it was Democrats who did everything that they accused Trump of doing. And to top it off, read my Federalist article and subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. By the way, I have a new banner. Tell me if you like the banner on the Stock Market Crash channel. It was Democrats who forced an end to economic activity. Sweden and South Korea did not do that. So don't say we had to. Don't just blame a global health catastrophe, which, by the way, we can't even talk about the origins of. So, yet again, the interests of the Democratic Party correspond directly with the interests of geopolitical rivals. But check out this fantastic banner. How awesome is this? Jerome Powell is Thanos in all of my segments now, or the thumbnails. But check this out. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. By the way, I'll have a segment on the Stock Market Crash channel after this live stream. But check out the on the stock. Check out the banner. Pretty cool. Jerome Powell, Trump, and good old Uncle Joe atop a whole pile of cash. I think it's pretty cool. With Jerome Powell as Thanos. I have to look into that. Well, let's see. My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. So you gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself. At what point do media and pundits hold Democrats accountable? They're never held accountable. Okay, books about Trump, books like tell-all books are reported as fact. Tell-all books with no evidence backing the claims are literally reported as the truth. And then Hunter's emails are viewed as potential Russian disinformation. Like, gossip about Trump is never viewed as potential disinformation. Don't you understand? It's never viewed as potential disinformation. It's always, oh, well, Trump is capable of anything. He's capable of absolutely anything. So, because he's capable of anything, let's just believe every baseless claim. Let's just believe every baseless claim possible without any scrutiny at all. Without any scrutiny at all. I mean, that's the interesting thing. There's no scrutiny at all. That's what I like. That's what I find interesting. No scrutiny. Nothing. Just they believe anything. Hook, line, and sinker. I mean, they'll just believe anything. But God forbid, God forbid you make any claim about Joe or his administration or Let's Go Brandon, and it's a big problem. Big, huge problem. Let's go ahead and listen to this. Oh, Lord. Forget it. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay.
Yes, they are. They're flat thugs.
Trump
The thugs, Giuliani. Thugs.
tweeting with a different take. Hunter Biden was really bad on GMA. Now Sleepy Joe has real problems. Reminds me of Crooked Hillary and her 33,000 deleted emails not recoverable.
See, this is the thing. Don't you understand? Trump is... Okay, I know that people disagree with me on this. Okay? I know that people disagree with me on this. Okay? But you you have to understand. Let's listen to this again. You're going to say, "Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny." Okay? It's funny. Yeah, it's funny, okay? It's funny to me too.
Flat thugs.
Trump
Thugs.
tweeting with a different take. Hunter Biden was really bad on GMA. Now Sleepy Joe has real problems. Reminds me of Crooked Hillary and her 33,000 deleted emails not recoverable.
Okay. Here's why, ladies and gentlemen, really quickly, here's why it's not good to have President Trump back on Twitter. Because whereas you and I find it amusing, we find Trump amusing on Twitter. Okay? The problem is that he gives political momentum. He gives Democrats and morally superior liberals political momentum. That's the issue. That's the issue. It's the political momentum that he gives. Democrats have zero political momentum. So I'm trying to tell you, if he stays off of Twitter, he'll have a much easier time reaching people who are on the fence, because he creates such a visceral reaction. He creates such a a fierce rebuttal, even if he's right. That, like, they have no political, like, cinema and Manchin, they have no political momentum. Anyway, let's continue. All right, let's continue here.
Hunter has been at the constant receiving end of the Trump family's taunts.
I think Hunter Biden is a disgrace.
Maybe lock her up goes to lock him up.
But maintains he is not taking the bait.
They could say whatever the hell they want to
Lock
say
them up?
about me.
Lock them
Yeah,
up?
good for them. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about them. I really don't. They seem so irrelevant.
So you have no opinion about that?
No, I don't have any opinion. I have an opinion about them shooting big game in Africa. I don't really think about Donald Trump's kids that much. I mean, I really don't. They seem clownish to me when I see them. Look, it's all noise.
There's a rebuttal there.
To Hunter, the attacks are inconsequential, paling in comparison to a life that has been...
All right, so basically... Oh, let's listen to this.
Whatever could have happened to me.
So, you have a situation where they both lied. Oh, this is another good one. Hold on one second. This is another... this is in 2021. Hold on. Hold on.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know that's...
He said he doesn't know.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you... Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know that's...
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is.
You don't know yes or no if the laptop
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So
whether or
could
not.
have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was...
It could be dinosaurs infiltrated your home and it could be that these dinosaurs stole your laptop and then a whole bunch of Martians created software that replaced the existing emails with Russian disinformation from Putin. Or they're your emails and they're incriminating. So here we go.
Stolen from me.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
He knows it's his laptop. He knows that. He knows that. Of course it's his laptop. The laptop shows pictures of him, exactly. So how do you... So what did the Russians do? Like, they made sure that... What did they do? They made sure that he has photos without clothes on. Tubining. And then doctored emails. Anything that happens is either Trump is either worse or the Russians did it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So Anytime they're caught with their pants down, anytime, it's always the Russians. The Russians did it. It's never them. It's never them. All right, so hold on 1 second. This is interesting. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Losing steer. All right. This will help you if you're having trouble going to bed tonight. You could replay this live stream and you'll go right to sleep. All right, so check this out. This is amusing too.
In
his new memoir, Hunter Biden defends his decision to serve on the board of Ukrainian energy company Barisma.
Don't you love, like, when CBS or, like, any news station, if it was Trump, it was like, Trump. People say he was working with the Russians. Whenever it's like Hunter, it's like, it's always the preface, or they introduce it as, you know, you gotta believe him. You know, he's on the right side of history. After all, he's a good liberal. I mean, a good liberal wouldn't do this, would? A good liberal do this? No. No, he's a good liberal. He's a fantastic good liberal.
While his father oversaw U.S. policy in the region as vice president.
I mean, what could go wrong? Joe oversaw policy, and he was the anti-corruption czar, or leader, or point man, while his son was on a corrupt corporation's board, and a laptop full of naked photos, and emails that could have been doctored by Putin, you know. I mean, you know, like, the perfect storm of corruption is completely hidden by media when it comes to Democrats. And with Trump, someone wrote a book, and this is the epitome of evil. Like, they actually think what unsourced, anonymous quotes in a book, they think that's accurate, but they don't think it's accurate when the laptop with incriminating photos says, like, proves that they were lying.
You grew up in politics. Yeah. Did you not think you might be putting a big bullseye on yourself?
I didn't fully comprehend the level to which...
Don't you love the way he's given the softball questions? You knew that they would be unfairly going after you. Whereas with Trump, it's like, the end of the world is your fault. What are you going to do about it? How long have you been okay with the end of the world being your fault, Trump? And with Hunter, it's, you know, how do you feel about this? I mean, they don't treat Trump or his kids in the manner they treat Democrats.
This former administration and the people around it would go.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the politics that you're talking about in terms of the last, 40 years is a very different game. And I don't want to ever...
Yeah, they set up Trump, and they said that he was a Russian operative. So there you go. They set up Trump, and they said that he was a Russian operative. That's never happened in American history. The United States government was leveled against an incoming candidate. So that's never happened.
want to hand a weapon to people that would use it in a illegitimate way that they used the weapon of me against my dad.
You're tubining yourself in these photos and videos, and tubining others. Speaking of, you can be a CNN contributor and just, oopsie, was I on a Zoom meeting? Oh, zip. Oh, so sorry. Well, I'm liberal, so I'll get my job back, no problem. Why, do you not, you can't wait? Is this, how, did he not, he couldn't wait for the Zoom meeting to be over? You couldn't wait? Huh? You couldn't wait, you had to, I didn't know the Zoom meeting was on. You couldn't wait? Maybe turn the computer off and on again? You never played Nintendo in the 80s? And it's like, every movement out there, if Trump did that, oh my God, his orange you-know-what was all over the screen. Oh, the horror. It's like the Hindenburg, the Titanic calling, oh, the horror, the humanity. No, the orange. You know what? No. You couldn't wait. You had to do it during the live stream or the Zoom meeting. But then again, it's a good liberal. These are the people judging Trump. This man was like, Trump, I've never seen this before. The Constitution is a toilet paper for Trump. Oh my God, oh my God. And he tubins himself on the Zoom meeting. Okay? You couldn't even turn off the actual little Zoom thing? Did you not see the little, icons of the people there? Oh, there's Melissa, and there's Barbara, and there's Bob. Nah. It looks like this Zoom is, I think, over. Zip. You couldn't wait, could you? He's not even the worst. I still have Chris Cuomo. Fake waits Chris Cuomo, who literally helped his brother get away with things. So, look, it's the people who are going after Trump make Trump look like a saint. They make Trump look like a saint. It's unbelievable. Come on, man. It's unbelievable, Greta. It's unbelievable. I'm starting to get queasy. It's unbelievable. You couldn't wait. But see, do you understand? If Hannity did that, or Tucker Carlson, oh my God. Tucker. No! Oh my God, his conservative you-know-what. Oh no, all over the Zoom meeting. Like a maniac. And then CNN, tubining, no big deal. He's back. It's fine. He's liberal, it's fine. Good, liberal, no problem. If you're liberal, it's fine. It's fine. It's unbelievable. You know, they call Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump Uday and Kusei just because they went hunting. Okay? Just one hunting trip. Oh my God. Meanwhile, Hunter, like, Chris, yes, thank you. Meanwhile, Hunter is like all over the place, doing all types of things, and they're like totally fine with it. So, I don't get it. But then again, that is the double standard, ladies and gentlemen. That's the double standard. You can actually get away with pretty much, like, in American media, you can actually tube in on a Zoom meeting and still keep your job if you're a good, morally superior, left-leaning pundit. But if you tube in and you're conservative, you better expect Armageddon. You better expect a reckoning. My God. It never ends. All right, let's listen. Let's keep listening.
At the end of the 2020 campaign, another weapon emerged.
This laptop is a disaster for that. How the hell did he ever let go of this sucker?
Another mallet. Another hammer of injustice and immorality. Another tool for Republicans and Trumpers to utilize and show nasty emotions and distrust. What is this tool? A laptop with incriminating emails. Another vicious. I mean, it's like everything is tailored to it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The double standard is just unbelievable. Thor's hammer of immorality utilized by thugs like Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, the thug, utilized Thor's hammer of immorality against poor Hunter and Joe. Meanwhile, a new book came out that says Trump likes to tubin at Zoom meetings. In fact, what he did worse was actually worse than the CNN pundit. Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they say. Kathleen, thank you. Eliza, hello.
Allies of President Trump and supporters in the media promoted incriminating evidence allegedly.
Allies of Trump, you know, those despicable, marginalized people who have mental problems, who aren't part of the consensus of normal and sane people, like that old movie, what is it, Dragnet, People Against Goodness and Normality, Pagans. You know, the Trump supporters, the pagans, the people against goodness and normality. They had the audacity to start talking about incriminating emails that potentially show massive corruption and crimes. But such audacity from these people against goodness and normality, so far outside the mainstream, most people shouldn't even believe them. Because they're just so despicable. Boo, Trump supporters, Trumpers, toothless Trumpers. Toothless, uneducated Trump supporters who happen to find emails, probably from Russians, about poor Hunter.
found on a laptop belonging to Biden.
You've seen the pictures, folks.
It was
Do you understand? If it was Donald Trump Jr., every single photo would be in like high definition. They would give these to like, kindergartens. Everyone on the planet would share it everywhere, no matter where. Old age homes, nursing homes, it doesn't matter. But you better believe most Americans haven't seen Hunter's artwork, his other artwork.
Delivered to the FBI by the owner of a Delaware computer store. You make just one reference to it in the book.
Yeah.
Is that laptop yours?
You don't need the laptop. You got a book. You get the book. It's all in the book. And
Could you imagine Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump answering that question in that manner? Buy the book. Buy the book.
Yours?
You don't need the...
Delivered to the FBI by the owner of a Delaware computer store. You make just one reference to it in the book.
Yeah.
Is that laptop yours?
You don't need the laptop. You got a book. You get the book. It's all in the book. And I don't know. I truly...
I don't know. It could be mine. It could be mine. It maybe not mine. Who knows? Who knows? Voice of reason. There's no comment that won't be censored. So here, just take the mic. Voice of reason. Thank you so very much. Voice of there's no comment that won't be censored. So there, to take the mic. Voice of reason. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I mean, the algorithm. I'm long-winded by nature. Voice of reason. Thank you so much. Sometimes people stumble upon my channel and they're like, I listened to 2 hours and you could actually say that in 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, the algorithm. I'm long-winded by nature, but Thank you so very much, Voice of Reason. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated, Voice of Reason. There's no comment. Conrad! Yeah, that's right. Hunter's lawyers asked for a laptop that, quote, wasn't his to be returned. Exactly. Great point. My brain is fried from all of this. So, yeah, great point. Great point. Conrad, it's so true. So true. Voice of reason, thank you. Voice of reason, thank you. Conrad, thank you. Thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you.
You don't know.
The serious answer is that I truly do not know the answer to that.
Did you leave a laptop with a repairman
Not
in
that
Wilmington?
I remember.
Not that you remember.
No.
Not that I remember. They can get away with anything. It's amazing. And the liberal commentator is media in this country. If you are a liberal Democrat, or if you're a liberal Democrat, so just asking, the incriminating emails that show pay to play, along with you naked, and other incriminating photos of you and others, are they yours? I don't know. Okay, fine. Anyway, back to you, Jim, for sports. We've talked enough about that. What? You know what? We've talked enough about that. It's like, at what point do you hold anyone on the left accountable? Could you imagine? Exactly. Electric dog. Exactly. The Wiener laptop. Well, that actually, he was held accountable because he was sending his pictures of his tubing to everyone on the planet. Oh, look at all the wonderful people. Let's see. So you have the great Tubin, who couldn't wait until after a Zoom meeting. You have the aptly named Anthony Weiner, who was also tubining. Let's see all these wonderful liberal men. Oh, this is fantastic. Well, Bill Clinton. Oh, don't bring my name into this. You have Anthony Weiner tubining. Anthony Weiner, the great Tubin, who's a fantastic human being. Hunter. I mean, can you imagine being at a party with those three? You know, I'm out. I don't need that in my life. Can you imagine? And that's just three that comes to mind. The people who preach about morality the most are the most immoral. The people who condemn and judge, I should say. If you condemn and judge like Democrats. So. Oh, let's continue. This is hilarious. Just wondering, is that laptop yours? You know, the one with, you and your tubining and all that stuff? No, I don't know. Okay, thank you. Last question about that. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Well, you've answered it. If it was Trump, it was, are you sure? Really? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? It's yours. No, it's yours.
No. But whether or not somebody has my laptop, whether or not it was a...
whether or not somebody has a laptop that could have belonged to me, which doesn't. I mean, could, but whatever.
I was hacked, whether or not there exists a laptop at all. I truly don't.
Who even knows if there... This is good. Hunter is bringing the A game here. Is there even a laptop? I mean, what is life all about? Why are we on this planet? Quantum physics, are we actually are we a part of a dream? Do we even exist? I'm talking to you right now. Where is the sound going? Who's listening to this? Are we in like some kind of little marble? Like one of those little things you shake with little snow, shake it. Is that what this world is about? I mean, really, what's going on? So you talk about a laptop with incriminating emails that say, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? I mean, but honestly, the real question is, why are we here? Who wants us to live in the manner we do, and what is happiness? Those are the questions. Not a laptop that doesn't even really exist. I mean, it exists physically, but really in your mind. In your mind, everyone has a laptop. So, when you're asking me about my laptop, you're really asking about yours.
Don't know.
Are you missing a laptop?
Not that I know of, but
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Hey, maybe. Probably not. Who cares?
You read the book and you'll realize that I wasn't keeping tabs on possessions very well for about a 4-year period of time.
At the end.
This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. We got to hear this again.
Laptop yours?
You don't need a laptop. You got a book. You get the book. It's all in the book. And I don't know. I truly...
You don't know.
The serious answer is that I truly do not know the answer to that.
And then every defender is like, we don't know. We have no clue. We don't know. We have no clue. Could be Russia. They wouldn't think it was Russia if it was Trump. If the tables were turned, they wouldn't think that. So,
Did you leave a laptop with a repairman
Not
in
that I
Wilmington?
remember.
Not that you remember.
not that I remember. Not no. Not that I remember. It's like they're all in deposition mode. Did you ever have relations with an extraterrestrial? Most people say absolutely not. Democrats say not that I remember. Not that I remember. I can't say that I remember having relations, romantic involvement with an extraterrestrial. I don't think so. Could be, possibly. I don't know. So, you think it's possible that you had relations with an extraterrestrial? I don't even remember, so.
No. But whether or not somebody has my laptop, whether or not it was hacked, whether or not there exists a laptop at all, I truly.
There might not even be a laptop at all. That's the best thing of all. It's the best thing. There might not even be a laptop at all. There could be a laptop. There could not be a laptop. Voice of reason, thank you. Conrad, thank you. There could be a laptop. There might not be a laptop. There could be a laptop. There might not be a laptop. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if there's a laptop or not. I don't know. Do you have a laptop? Well, it might be yours. Well, I see you have a laptop there. Maybe it's your laptop. Maybe my emails were on your laptop and my photos were on your laptop. So the question is, what were you doing? Maybe you should be investigated. I don't know. I don't know if there's a laptop or not. Maybe it was an iPad or a cell phone. Who knows? I don't know. The Russians, Putin could have. Why? How would I have it's no. If I had a laptop, what I might have had is no longer in my possession and could have been hacked by the entire planet. So I have no clue. What, Tony Bublinsky? Nah. No. I have no clue. Notice how they don't ask. All of these interviewers know that the emails have been confirmed by his business associates and by the New York Post and by Politico. Or at least the emails, the legitimacy, the reality that those emails belong to Hunter. The odds are, based on Tony Bublinsky and others, the odds are that, they almost certainly belong to, Hunter. So there you go. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
We don't know.
Are you missing a laptop?
Not that I know of, but you read the book and you'll realize that I wasn't keeping tabs on possessions very well for about a 4-year period of time.
At the end of last year, Biden acknowledged an ongoing investigation by federal authorities for potential tax law violations.
And so Trump is impeached. Trump is impeached for doing what the United States government is actually doing. So,
Is your legal team working on any kind of a plea deal?
Oh, no. I am absolutely certain that what we're doing is being completely cooperative with whoever is asking from any authority.
They're investigating to put any allegations to rest. That's what Democrats do. Took me a long time to realize this. They're investigating so then nobody can say that they didn't investigate. So that's that.
Whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. The implication all through the campaign was that your efforts had somehow benefited your father financially. Have you ever given your father money from any of your business ventures?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing. Ever.
Not a nickel?
Not a nickel.
Directly or indirectly?
Directly or indirectly. Not a nickel ever. 100%. No.
Except the emails show otherwise.
Never.
In 2018, near the height of his battle with addiction, Biden misplaced a handgun, sparking a law enforcement investigation. New details emerged last month that the...
So there you have that. He basically lost his firearm. We won't get into that. But I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. And then, of course, you have Jimmy Kimmel 6 months ago. And Jimmy Kimmel's fawning all over Hunter. And, of course, he would never do that with Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump. When are people going to realize that there are two political sides in this country, and media is firmly on one political side? We used to have media that they were apolitical for the most part. I mean, there was a debate 30 years ago, or even 20 years ago. Actually, 20 years ago, Bush Republicans really controlled the media narrative. But like 25, 30 years ago, there was a debate. Actually, you can look at the way the media treated Bill Clinton, and you could say that would never happen to a Democrat nowadays. That would never happen. They didn't care. Media didn't care if it was a left wing or right. If it was a Republican or Democratic scandal, they were going to report on it. They actually enjoyed, or they actually covered, and they covered any story. If it was a scandal or controversy, they really didn't care where it came from. Media 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago. Now it's completely different. I mean, it's like every single possible advantage. Democrats have every single possible advantage. Humanly possible. And if you look today, just changing the topic of discussion really quickly. So we're going to hit 35,000 in the Dow. Today is completely counterintuitive. This is how the stock market works, and this is why we're going to have a devastating crash. In the past week, you've had inflation soaring, jobless claims that are up, while at the same time job creation was 300,000 below estimates. But the market goes up 500 points because banks made profits. The S&P, 30% of the S&P 500 profits are from 10 companies, 10, 12 companies that are primarily banks and tech firms. So, and the profits are a reflection of $10 trillion pumped into the economy. And we already know that Jerome Powell is going to begin tapering. The Fed is going to begin tapering. So, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup saw their shares. Yeah. So, of course they made money. Of course they made money. $10 trillion was pumped into the economy. Cali boy! The Dems own all the major newspapers and TV media outlets. Exactly. They own the narrative. Exactly. Cali boy, thank you. Thank you so very much. I hope all is well. Thank you. Yeah. They pretty much have a monopoly on... They have a monopoly on political thought. And also, this is why I love Dave Chappelle. I always loved Dave Chappelle. But they couldn't... He's the one man, one of the few people they couldn't cancel. Impossible to cancel Dave Chappelle. Impossible. It's impossible. Not possible. It's just not possible. He's too important and he's too special and, he's too important to American culture. You can't cancel Richard Pryor. So you can't cancel Dave Chappelle. And Kelly boy, you're right. They have this monopoly on media, on a media narrative. And here's I'll say this, the one cable station, Cali boy, thank you again, as always, thank you. The one station that is actually apolitical is CNBC, so I'll give them that. They're completely oblivious to the upcoming stock market crash. But big tech stocks, Microsoft, Apple, each gained at least 2%, providing the market with support. So a lower than expected number of weekly jobless claims. Yeah, but we had a 300,000 jobs that should have been created. We missed estimates by 300,000 jobs. And more people are quitting. We had a record number of people quitting work last month, while there's a labor shortage. And you have inflation, supply chain shortages, Fed tapering. They're telling you they're going to taper. So it will go up to 30. And save your money every month, ladies and gentlemen. Save your money every single month. Save your money every single month. Because what's taking place right now in the market is it'll go up past 35,000. Could it go to 36,000? Who knows? Who cares? The thing is going to crash. The thing is going to crash. The thing is going to crash. It could go to 36,000. S&P 5,000. I mean, you can have all of these S&P could go to 5,000. I'll say that the economy is not banking and technology don't represent the entire United States. Well, unfortunately, they represent a pretty good percentage of profits in the stock market. But they're not an indicator of what's taking place. You have labor shortages. You have supply chain breakdowns. You have, and that's why I say subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Mark Everett Kelly, CK Magic Sports. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Go Raiders. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. Greatly appreciated. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mark. Thank you to my super chat. Thank you. I can't do this without you. Mark, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. You've had bad economic news. Every single day. September jobs report, this was 7 days ago, 300,000 jobs below expectations. 300,000 jobs below expectations. Mark, thank you again. And the market goes up because banks did well. Well, banks did well because there was $10 trillion pumped into the economy. The corporate profits are going to decline once the Fed starts tapering and once interest rates go up and once inflation hits consumers, which inflation has already hit consumers. So, Kelly boy, I heard John Gruden asked Hillary how to get rid of him. No, he would have gotten rid of them. He would have already gotten rid of them. See, if he had asked Hillary, this wouldn't have been an issue. It already would have been, the computers would have been taken care of. Thank you, Callie boy. Thank you so very much. Callie boy, thank you so very, very much. He should have. He should have asked. He really should have. He really should have. Cali boy, thank you. Let's see here. So, you have an all-time high in margin debt. And I just talk about the same things. You have a derivatives nightmare. So, margin debt in the market up 8% in August. Another high. So, they're borrowing more money every month. And margin debt as a percentage of GDP is even greater than it was in 2008. I mean, 2008. So, all-time high. Wow. A lot higher. I'm looking at the chart here. A lot higher than 2008 and even a great deal. Oh my God. Wow. So, I mean, you have a recipe for disaster. In addition to the derivatives nightmare, I mean, there's so many things. Cali Boy, thank you again. There's so many things that can go wrong. And you have gas prices that are double. And natural gas. Utilities are going to be more expensive for people. So, the market going up today, it's like, that doesn't reflect the economy. But that's what the stock market, when things tank and you're going to have hedge funds go under and bank bailouts, America's biggest banks are booming, but they're not lending. So, they made profits, but they're not lending. Several of America's largest financial firms report strong earnings.
Impact a record 1.1
Lord. Let's see. So, shares of Bank of America rose 4.5%, Morgan Stanley up 2.5%. It's getting harder and harder to obtain mortgage loans, so there's even going to be a revenues recession in the next couple of quarters. They talk about banks are caught in a revenue recession. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. I can't thank you enough. I will be back tomorrow. Check the upload tomorrow morning. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Like I said, the market's up today. It could go up for the next month. It's not really relevant. The crash is going to take place because the reality of every economic indicator, consumer price index, producer price index, Evergrande in China, the housing bubble in China, the housing bubble here, the bond market bubble, the stock market bubble. There are so many bubbles that, unfortunately, are about to burst. I mean, we can go on forever, but I'm like exhausted now. Definitely hit the Stock Market Crash channel. I think you'll like the new banner. It's right here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to my super chat. Thank you so very much. Everyone here, God bless. I will see you tomorrow. I will try to do a 6:30 p.m. segment tomorrow. So be here at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. And Eliza, thank you so very, very much. Be here at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, everybody. 6:30 p.m. Pacific. 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Everybody, God bless. Have a great, great evening. Thanks so much to my super chat. I can't thank you enough. and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Crash channel. If you want to support my work, my Patreon will be below in the pinned comment. And read my latest article in the Federalist on the upcoming stock market crash. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.